Hi! Welcome to the tutorial for this here tank top. This tutorial is all-encompassing in the way that every size can follow it. I use a very comically small sample to show you what to do, but because the pattern follows a very specific number pattern, it's effectively the same for all sizes, just with different numbers, but the pattern is the same. Does that make any sense? Anyways, this will make sense for every size. The full pattern is on my blog, so go and take a look at that to find your size and the correct stitch numbers and everything. But yeah, I think that's it. I hope you enjoy. This is a difficult one to explain, so bear with me. I hope it makes some sense, but I do quite love the result. I think she's very cute. Very summer, very flower. So yeah, enjoy. This is a long tutorial. So before we start, I just wanted to explain the flower pattern. It's very, very simple, but just so you have an idea. So each sequence is 8 stitches. So it's 7 regular stitches, so 7 regular double crochets with your main color, and then the 2 flower stitches. The green is always a 2 double crochet, and the pink is always a large double crochet. It's explained in the pattern. When you're working it flat, it's a little bit off-centered, but once it's connected, it all works out to be the correct number of stitches in each sequence. So you can see in this row here, there's 1 stitch at the end on this side, and there's 6 on this side. 1 plus 6 is 7. When you connect them, it creates 7. Now for the surface crochet for the diamonds, there is a point here, a point here. So it's 2 rows below, 2 rows above, and then once you move to the next one, it's 2 rows below, and then it'll be 2 rows above this. And then it's 4 stitches on either side, and they share points. So they share a point with the ones beside, and then with the ones above and below. So when you're working it, it works out just like that. And then again, it'll be here, so it just continues. Now there's a chart included in the pattern on my blog that shows where to crochet when you're doing the surface crochet to create the diamond pattern. Now I explain this as we're working the pattern, but just for an overview, the green and the pink stays on throughout the pattern. You do not need to cut the green and the pink off or on. It is designed so that you do not have to cut these strands. You will just catch them in between each flower sequence, and then once you get to the end, you'll leave them where they are, and then you'll lift them up through the rows, and then make sure they're at the right spot for the next row. Again, I show this in the tutorial, but you're just leaving, you can see here, so you leave that there, you carry it up, and then over so that it's at the right stitch. You do not need to cut them off. Again, it's designed so that you'll start the pink on the same side that you left it off on. We're going to start with our 4.5mm hook and DK weight yarn, and you're going to start with your main color. You want to make a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 3. So instead of a regular chain to start off our top, we're going to do a foundation double crochet. So we're going to yarn over and go into the 3rd chain from the hook, which will be the first one that we made. So insert your hook, yarn over, and we're going to pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through just 1. So this one that we just did is making the chain that isn't there. So now we have 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's our double crochet. So you can see that we've made kind of the chain portion there, and then our regular double crochet. So we're going to yarn over just once, and we're going to flip it upside down, and we're going to go through this kind of V here. So in a regular chain, we'd be working through just 1 loop, but we're going to work under 2 loops. Yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3. Yarn over and pull through 1, again making the chain. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. So again, we're going to yarn over, look at the bottom, make sure we're going into the right one. So here, we're going to go under both loops here, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through one, making the chain, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. Again, so we're going through both on the bottom, so there we have the start of our foundation. Now when you're doing the first part of the stitch, you want to make sure that this yarn over, so once you've inserted, yarned over and pull up a loop, you want to make sure it's not too tight because then it's going to like curve in. So I like to pull it just a little bit to make sure it's loose. It's the same when you're doing a regular chain to start off a project. You don't want to make the chain too tight. So you're going to continue that for the right amount of stitches for your size, and then we'll start on the second row. Once you've reached the end of your first row, you'll want to chain 2 and turn. Chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Also, for demonstration purposes, I'm doing a smaller scale one so that it fits into the frame and you can see what I'm doing. So for the second row, we're just doing double crochet all the way across, just with the main color. There is our second row. So chain 2 and turn. We're going to start off with 4 regular double crochets. And we're going to do one more, but we're not going to finish it. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and leave that. Now we're going to add the green. So we're going to take our green, just yarn over, make sure you're holding tight, and pull it through the last 2 loops, and that is how you add a new color. Tighten the white a bit, and then you're going to want to make sure you're working with the actual strand and not with the tail. A rule that I go by, typically, especially with this one because we're working with double crochets, is that wherever you're working a stitch where at the end of the stitch you're changing colors, crochet over that color that you're going to change it to. So there's only one green stitch at a time, so after the green it's always going to be white, so we're going to crochet over the white every time we do a green, and the same goes with the pink. So for the green, for the leaves, we're going to do an increase, which is a 2 double crochet. So in the next stitch, insert your hook, and you want to make sure that the white is on top so that you're crocheting over it. So it's just resting on top of your hook. Taking the green, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You can see the white's inside there. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, we're doing 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook. Again, the white is still sitting there. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. And now we're going to change to the white. So leave the green, pick up the white, yarn over and finish the stitch. And now we're going to leave the green just in the back on the wrong side. So we're going to do 3 regular double crochets. And then we're going to grab the green and we're going to crochet over the green because we're doing 7 stitches in between each flower. So it's a long stretch for 7 stitches to just lead the green behind. So we're going to crochet over it in the middle. So bring it over here, yarn over, and insert your hook. And again, you just want it sitting on top of your hook, like that. And do your regular double crochet. So there it is floating behind. Something that I like to do is kind of fix it a little bit. So if it seems too loose, I'll tug it a bit, but if it seems too tight, and if you're worried about it being too tight so that it'll pucker, you can always just stretch, not like that, stretch it out a bit to give it some slack. So leave the green in the back on the wrong side, and we're going to do 2 more double crochets. And so now we have 6, and again we're supposed to have 7, but because the next one we're switching to the green at the end, we're going to crochet over the green. So grab the green again, insert your hook, and make sure it's sitting on top, and then finish, making sure it's not too tight back here, finish with the green. And then again, we're doing a 2 double crochet over the white because we're changing to the white at the end of the 2 double crochet. Double crochet 3. Pick it up. Two more. And then over it again to switch at the end of this stitch. Two double crochet over the white. And now continue the pattern of the 2 double crochet in the green and then 7 double crochets in the white. And just remember when to catch the green and then come back once you've done your last green 2 double crochet. So once we reach the end, we're going to have fewer stitches, and I'll explain why. So after the last leaf in the row, you're just going to leave the green in the back on the wrong side. So it's not always going to be the back, because sometimes we're going to be working this way, but it will always be on the wrong side. And then 2 more double crochets. And then chain 2. The reason that it looks kind of uneven is so that when we connect it in between the first and the last, we have the correct number of stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I didn't want the seam to be right in the middle, so I just kind of off-centered it a little bit, but it all works out when we connect it at the end. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to do 1 double crochet, and then we're going to start the next one but don't finish it, and then grab your petal color and finish the stitch with the pink. So again, we're leaving the tail on the wrong side. And so for this next stitch, again, because at the end of the petal stitch, we're changing back to the white, so we're going to crochet over the white, and because we need to lift up the green so that it's at the right row once we need it again. We're going to crochet over the green as well. So I like to pick it up with my hook, and for this we're not working into one of these, there's so much going on, into one of these, we're working in between the two stitches. So you're going to lift this up here, insert your hook in between, and then again make sure the white is sitting on top. So I like to pinch the two strands and pull up a loop. So here we've caught the green and we've caught the white. Yarn over, pull through two, but we're not going to finish it. It's kind of like a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, insert it again in the same place, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, and then with the white, because we need the white on the next one, put this on the wrong side but in the front, yarn over and pull through three. So now we've lifted the green up a row, and we're going to do it again at the end of the next row, but we're just going to leave it, so now it's in the front but it's on the wrong side. We're going to leave it on the wrong side and continue working with the pink and the white, and it's going to be the same sequence of events. So we're going to do 3 regular double crochets with the white, and then we're going to catch the pink and crochet over the pink. See, it's in the same place that we did the green. We're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to crochet over the pink again and finish this last double crochet with the pink, and then again leaving the white on top so that we're crocheting over it in between the 2 stitches that we made. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, insert and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then with the white, yarn over and pull through the remaining 3. And I've moved this, again once we're done, the stitch to the wrong side so that it's not stuck on this side, on the right side, after we've done whatever double crochets, because then you'll be able to see it on the right side, which is what we don't want. So again, making sure you pull it to the wrong side and continue. And again, just keep going, do the correct number of repeats of the pattern for your size, and then come back once you've done the last flower. So we've come to the end. We're just going to leave the pink here on the wrong side and finish the row with the white. Chain 2 and turn. And here's what we have. Alright, so for the 5th row, we're going to double crochet across, but we're going to do a back loop only double crochet into the pink. Jeez. And for this first one, again, we're going to lift up this strand. So yarn over and insert into the back loop only. So just there. And then again, lifting up that pink. So lay it over your hook. Just again, pinch it if you want, and finish that double crochet. There we go, and leave it on the wrong side, this case the back, and continue doing double crochets. Again, at the pink, back loop only. And once we reach the last flower, back loop only, but we're going to lift the green up. So lay that over. You may need to tighten it again because that's where we started with the pink. And finish with your last 2 stitches. There we have it. Chain 2 and turn. And now we're going to offset the flowers for the next ones. So it's going to go in between all the other ones. So we're going to do 2 double crochets to start. And then we're going to lift the green again. So you can pick it up. And now it's going to go here. So we'll do 2 more double crochets. And then we're going to catch it because we're changing it at the end of this stitch. And finish with the green. Now again, over the white. Leaving it on the wrong side, but this time it's in the front. But still on the wrong side. And continue, 1, 2, 3. And then catch it. Again, because it's the middle, it's on top of the last flower. And then 1, 2. Catch it. And change. Again, continue across and then come back once there is 1 flower left in the row below. So here at the end, we've done 3, and now we need to catch this one, but we also need to lift the pink. So you can just lay them kind of both over your hook. Insert and pull up your loop. And finish your double crochet, leaving them both on the wrong side. 2 more. We're going to pick up the green. Finish with the green. And so because we need the pink here for the next row, we're going to pick up the pink and then also over the white as well. So we have the pink and the white because again we need the pink here on this next row. So leaving the pink on the wrong side, finish with the white, leaving the green in back, finishing with 1 double crochet, chain 2 and turn. So here you can see the offset flowers. We're going to do the first double crochet and then of course we're going to finish it with the pink. Make sure it's not too tight so that it doesn't pull. And then we're going to crochet over the green to lift up the green, and then obviously the white as well. And we're going in between our 2 stitches there. Ooh. Leaving the green in the back on the wrong side as well as the pink. And then once again, continuing in pattern until you've completed your last flower in the row. So we're at the end, leaving this in the back. Chain 2 and turn. And again, for this row, we're working a regular double crochet into every white stitch, but because we're on the other side, into the pink stitches, we're going to work into the front loop only. And we're lifting up the pink, and again, just the front loop so that when you turn it around to the right side, it's the back loop. Front loop only, and continue doing regular double crochets into the white stitch and front loop only double crochets into the top of your flowers until you reach the last flower in the row. And the last one, lifting up the green, front loop only as well, chain 2 and turn. And so now we're back at the first pattern of flowers, but this time we just have to catch the green. So on the second stitch, we're going to lift it again, and then on the 5th, catching it and changing to the green at the end. And then we're just going to continue crocheting for the correct amount of rows for your size, or until it's long enough. But you'll want to finish with this row here. So flower and then 1 more row. And then we're going to do the top kind of row. Alright, so here we are. We have the main portion of the body done. Again, mine is scaled down. So we're just going to do the top row. As I mentioned, if you want it longer, if you want it shorter, you just need to finish with 1 row above the flowers, and then we'll do the extra top row. So after your last row, you're just going to chain 1 and turn, and then you're going to slip stitch for a couple of stitches. It'll change depending on your size, but just do the amount of slip stitches for your size. Once you've done that, chain 2, and we're going to do a decrease. So yarn over, and make sure you're not going back into this stitch, you're going to go into the next one. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and then we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the next stitch. So we're not going to finish this, we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So we've done a decrease, we've combined 2 stitches into 1, and then you're going to do double crochet across again for the amount of stitches for your size. And then once you've done that, we're going to do another decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 2, and slip stitch into the next stitch. And there's our top row. It looks silly because it's really small, but that's the gist, just to give it a little bit of shaping. If you want more of these top rows, you can keep going and you can keep following the flower pattern. If you are going to continue with more rows on the top, you'll need to do the flower pattern in this row that we just did. And if you want the diamonds to work out properly and the peak reaches the top, you'll want to finish with 2 plain rows. So once that's done, you can cut off your white yarn, and we're going to sew it together and get started on the diamonds. All right, so you're going to fold it in half like this. Grab your darning needle. If your tail is long enough, you can use the tail. If not, add on another piece of yarn. But we're just going to sew it together at the seam. Make sure you're matching up your rows. That's very important for the rows to match up properly. And there we have a very neat seam, and you can see the flowers even out. All right, so here is the surface crochet chart. We'll look at the bottom. So the blue is going up, and then the green is going down. So you'll fasten on, again, this is explained in the section, but you'll fasten on underneath one of the stitches on the first flower section. Each gray dot is where you'll do a slip stitch or a surface crochet, if you will. So each, obviously, whatever shape this is a stitch. So you'll start here, you'll slip stitch in the space to the left, and then the stitch to the left in the space above, this stitch above in the space to the left, and then 2 stitches to the left in the space above, so on and so forth. It's the exact same, and then you keep going. So stitch above in the space to the left, stitch to the left in the space above, and then it starts. This is the pattern for the entire thing. So this is on my blog in the pattern, but that's how you read this chart. And then again, once you get to the top here, so this and this are essentially the same thing. So you get to the top, and then it just starts going down like that. Again, it's the same stitch pattern, just upside down. When you get to the top, you chain 1 and you turn, and then you continue going in. So these 2 are the exact same stitch. This point here and this point here. These essentially are the same thing. Obviously they're at different points, but just so you can see, you'll continue going this way using this pattern here. Now for the back. It's the same thing, except when you get to the top, there is no peak because there's only 1 row of these white stitches. So you'll just have to slip stitch 2 and then continue going down. So you see here the green is going back down. So you'll slip stitch 2, continue. This point here is the exact same as this point here, and just continue following that pattern down. Quickly before we start, I just want to show you how to surface crochet with this flat, just so that it's easier to see. So I'm going to start attached. I will show you how to do this in a second. So we have the yarn underneath our fabric. All you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into the correct place. So insert your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull that through. And then it's just a slip stitch. So again, you just insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip stitch. So I've yarned over underneath, pulling up a loop, and slip stitching. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, slip stitch. It's very easy. That's all there is to it. But again, the yarn, your working yarn, lives underneath your project. And now we're going to get started on the diamonds. So grab your green, or honestly whatever color you want. I've used green, you can use pink, you can use blue, literally any color. And it doesn't really matter which one you fasten on under. I'm going to start here in the back. So the way that it works is the points of the diamond are 2 rows under and above each flower and 3 stitches beside. So that middle stitch is where the other point is here. So you're going to attach your yarn underneath one of the flowers at the bottom. So take your color that you're using for the diamonds and create a slip stitch and insert your hook. Don't tighten it like all the way, just most of the way. So then we're going to attach at the bottom. So we want to go underneath one of the flowers. It doesn't really matter where, just underneath one of the flowers. So this is going into this stitch is here. So we're going to go into the bottom of this, which is this right here. So it's a little off, but this is the space for this stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip stitch. And then there's a bit of a method to this. There's a graph in the pattern on my blog. So you're going to go the stitch that you just stitched into underneath. You're going to go in the space to the left. And then the stitch to the left, you're going to go on top of that. And then the stitch above, you're going to go into the space to the left. And then this one's a bit of a jump, so 2 stitches over and then above. And then stitch above, space to the left, and then the stitch above. So that's the first section, and then you're just going to repeat that all the way to the top. So again, that's the first one that we did down here. So you can see it's 2 rows underneath the flower. So we're going to go stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left above, stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left twice, so 2 stitches to the left above. So in here, stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left above. So it's not the straightest line in the world, but when you've got the whole thing done, it's not that easy to tell. It turns out all right. So you may need to change your grip with your yarn. So again, from the beginning, stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left above, stitch above, space to the left, 2 stitches to the left above, stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left, and above. So as we're nearing the top, we're on the back, right? Again, of my small section. But here's the front section, here's the back. So there aren't 2 rows above this, because that makes a whole diamond, but that's honestly fine. This is what we do. So stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left above, stitch above, space to the left, 2 stitches to the left above. So on the back, when you get to the top, there are no peaks at the top row because you need another row for that. So all you need to do is slip stitch 2 and then turn it around. And then we're going to do stitch above, space to the left, 2 stitches to the left, and then above, above, space to the left, stitch to the left, above. And that's reset us. Now we're back to the regular pattern. And then once you turn around, you just go, and then we're gonna go here, and then it's gonna bounce and then back up. It's kind of like the DVD screen, but it all connects, and you only need to do it in like one go. Like you should not have to cut your yarn and reattach. So we're gonna go again, stitch above, space to the left, and get my bearings. Stitch to the left, space above, stitch above, space to the left, two stitches to the left, space above, or below, I guess, stitch above, space to the left, stitch to the left, space above, stitch above to the left, above, above, oop, to the left, two to the left, above, above, space to the left, stitch to the left, above. Then in here, so it'll be at the bottom, it's to the left. So it's right here. So let's slip into there. And then you're going to chain one at the bottom and turn. And so there are our first two rows. And now we're going to do the next one. And I'll show you how to go over the seam. It's the same. You're not doing anything different. You just want to make sure you're not going into the chain two. Okay, so it's a bit of a jump. So we're going 2 stitches over. So 1, this is the chain, 2, and we're going into here. And that gets us in the right place. And then continue. We're nearing the top at the back again, so we'll do the same thing we did before. Going over there, slip stitch 2. And we're going to turn. We got stitch above, space to the left, 2 stitches to the left, space above. And here we're at a meeting point, so we know we're good. You can go in behind, in front, in between, doesn't really matter. Go in here. And then again at the bottom, chain 1 and turn, and repeat. So we're going to go back up this way over the seam, and then back down this way, and then back up this way, and then back down this way. So it all connects. So I just want to point out that at the bottom, you don't want to go into here. So the next one will be, stitch above to the left. So you're going to go into here. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. Don't go into here because that's the wrong one. Because of the nature of the foundation double crochet, you have to reach over that stitch. So you're just going into this one here. So we're at the top and the front. I'm just going to do the last 2. We're going to go above this one. And again, just like the bottom, chain and turn. And then go back down like you normally would. So here I am at the end. And we're going to go back into the one that we started in. And then you can cut your yarn off and fasten off. But it all connects. It just bounces up and down. You don't have to cut your yarn off at all and reattach. They all work out. So now that we've done our surface crochet, it's time to do the border at the top and the straps, and then the border at the bottom. So you can start with the top or the bottom, it doesn't really matter. But what you might want to do before you start the top is place stitch markers where you want the straps to be in the back. So find where you want your straps to be in the back. You can just place a marker there just so that you know whenever you get there. Sure. And then we'll take whatever color you want to use. I like to start at the side seam, but you can really start wherever. And you'll fasten on your yarn. So just into the top of the stitch. Pull up a loop. Chain 1. And then going back into that same stitch, we're going to do a single crochet. And then you're just single crocheting around until you reach wherever you want your strap to be. And then we're going to chain. Now you want to make the chain long enough to tie on top of your shoulder. If you want them super long, make them super long. So just keep going until it's the length that you want. And then we're going to turn, and starting in the second chain from the hook, we're going to go into the back. So normally we would go into like here, but we're going to turn it over and we're going to go into this extra loop in the back. So insert your hook, and we're just going to slip stitch back down the chain. And just going into this back loop here. And then once we've got back to the bottom, just continue going. So just go into the next stitch and continue single crocheting all the way around. And when you get to here, just make sure you're not going into our slip stitches from the surface crochet. We're going into the top of the base color. And then again. Ooh. Doing the right, oh my gosh, the right chain length. However long, flipping it over, second chain from the hook, going through the back, and slip stitching. And then continue single crocheting around. Then once you get to the top row, just go 2 into the side. So into those 2 chains that we made, like that, and then again, we're going to chain for the straps and slip stitch back. And then continuing with single crochets. Once you pass through the peaks, you just want to make sure that you're going into each stitch. And then again, 2 on the side. And then just back around, being mindful of the other slip stitches. And you can just kind of slip stitch into the first stitch. And there you have it. And then you're just going to do the same thing on the bottom. This looks so funny. Please. Oh my god. It's like a tiny tank top. Okay. Wow. And then you're just gonna do the same thing, just single crochet around the bottom. If you want. You don't have to. Then you weave in your ends and you're done. Hope you enjoyed.